Okay. Well, welcome to our informational Japan trip tour for 2025. And this will be the third time I've traveled with Spirit Tours, 2013 a long time ago, and then this year with Karen. And I just have to say, if you want to have a great tour guide, Karen is the person to be with. I cannot say enough about her organizational skills, the guides that she finds that are know every detail about the country. I loved all of our guides. I think I don't know how big your medicine case is, but you are the go-to for every little ailment, stomach ailment, cut, you name it. She's got it, and it was just a very smooth trip from when we arrived at the airport. We were greeted with signs. There was, I don't know if you've ever seen the Indonesian language. It's beautiful squiggles, but and I couldn't read anything. But it was just I felt very taken care of. And hi, Rick, seeing a bunch of people who went to Bali with us. So thank you for coming. So the reason I liked a tour is that I don't have to do any of the all the what Karen does, finding the guides, getting the hotel, getting arranging the transportation. I feel like I'm a guest just going. And for those of you who don't know me, I have a Tai Chi and Qigong background, and I've been doing that for since 1998 and teaching, certifying people, future teachers. I've led 3 trips to China to study, and after the pandemic, China's a kind of a hard place to go, and I wanted to explore Asia some more. And so that's the Japan trip came. And I reached out to a couple of Tai Chi schools in Japan, and they're very excited to meet us and practice us. So we will have a teacher and some students. So for some cultural exchange, all practicing. But I have to say, it's not a trip focused on Tai Chi and Qigong. It's not like an educational, we are going to go learn a form and practice 4 or 5 hours a day. Karen is going to show us the culture of Japan, the food of Japan. And what I'm really excited about is learning about the spirituality of Japan. I don't really know what Shinto Buddhism is, Zen Buddhism, warrior way of the samurai. So, those things really interest me. And I like to take those aspects and incorporate them into my Tai Chi and Qigong. So, yeah, very excited. And I don't know if there's anything else you want me to say, but I love to travel, and I love to travel with like-minded people. So yay, welcome. I'm welcome. So glad you're here. And I'm going to introduce Karen, who's going to tell us more about the trip.
Beautiful. So thank you, Jessica. I just adore Jessica. I feel very blessed to get to do this with Jessica now that we have one sacred journey under our belt. So I'm Karen Fry. I'm a spiritual leader in Dallas, Texas, and I'm now the owner and CEO of Spirit Tours, having purchased it over 2 years ago from the founder, Jim Kramer, who has been leading people like this for over 20 years. So we have very deep connections. And I traveled with Jim with my spiritual community for over 9 years before purchasing Spirit Tours, because after the pandemic, I knew I wanted to be a global citizen and to take people to places around the world and for them to have a priceless experience they could have no other way. And especially for the people that never thought about small group travel, once they do a Spirit Tours small group travel, most people are hooked, and this is the way they want to travel. Um, at least some of the time, if not just with their spouse or partner or family on their own. But a lot of people are bringing those with them now with Spirit Tours. So we just led a tour in Japan October. So it's the same time of the year. So I'm excited. We loved it. Everyone loved it. It was priceless, and we are making it even better for next year, and keeping the qigong tai chi, the go with the flow forefront in the mind. of this particular tour. So there won't be another one like it, I don't think, unless
Mm.
Jessica says to do it again. So we may do another one, but it's not going to be like this. So, yeah, we're going to take you on a spiritual pilgrimage that will in deep into the heart of the Japanese culture, their faith, the history. We're going to see breathtaking landscapes. If you've never been to Japan, it was my first time. Everywhere you look is art. And let me tell you, I didn't see a trash can basically the whole time. There's no trash. It's very clean. The people, to understand the people and how they greet one another, how they'll greet us, how they hold nature. Celebrate impermanence. Will embody the principles of wabi-sabi, you'll hear. We're going to go to places such as Kyoto, Mount Koya, Osaka, and we are going to spend several hours at my most favorite place now in Japan. It's called the Zen Wellness Retreat Center. And it was pretty much everybody else's favorite place as well. So you'll get to travel in a relaxed state. You'll get your steps on every day. I can tell you that. It's not physically challenging, but you will walk quite a bit and we will have some stairs and we take our time. But I got my steps in every day. We're all celebrating that. I won't tell you how many steps. We'll let that be a mystery. But we do walk. And as Jessica said, you get to travel with like-minded travelers. So let me share the screen. I'm going to go over the details of the itinerary at the very end of this introductory call. I will make it live on the website. It's not live right now because for the people that join us, we want to let you know about it first, but it will be live starting tonight. So let me share. Okay. And shake your head, Jessica, that you can see a nice PowerPoint now, please. Okay, very good. So we are going in the fall season, if not the cherry blossom seasons in spring, which is so expensive and so crowded. I personally don't want to go. The second best time to go is in the fall. Think Japanese maples and the turning of the leaves and all of that. So it is beautiful. It's October 22nd through the 31st for the main Japan tour. There will be a Tokyo add-on option afterwards if enough people want to do that. And we'll talk about that once we know who's going with us. Um, so you get to have all the joy, the laughter, the peace, the serenity, rest, relaxation, and go with the flow. This is all these pictures for the most part I've taken in the past month with my iPhone, by the way, although I am a professional photographer. So you can take beautiful pictures with your own handheld device. And we were on our way to a Zen meditation experience, and this was beautiful. So we're going to see lots of beauty, statues. We're going to see some fall foliage. Like I said, the Japanese maples starting to turn, depending on when they turn. They were a little late this year, but we got to see some turn. I am telling you, you're going to have exquisite food. You're going to love the food. Even if you don't like raw sushi, don't worry. But if you do, you're going to be spoiled and you're going to have an issue when you come back home because it's so good in Japan. I'm just here to tell you, I've already gotten emails from folks. I am ruined. We're going to have some surprises along the way. And one of it is what I didn't know is when we go to these sacred temples, every single one of them has their own unique, call it watermark, their own piece of artistry. And if you so choose, um, you can you can pay to have someone do this. So this is my book, and I have lots and lots of pages. And each what they do is they stamp. You can see the red stamps. They literally use a stamp with the ink pad, old-fashioned ink pad, and then someone that is truly an artist, they have their own signature at every single temple. And I found that so special. And a lot of us really got into that. And we are going to have some Qigong experiences. And I'll tell you specifically, but like Jessica said, we're going to be with some masters in Japan. So that's the overarching of it. So day one, after we arrive in we're gonna arrive in it's KIX. We'll tell you all the flight parameters and all of that. So we arrive on October 22nd. It's a Wednesday, and we fly into uh, a place near Kyoto. And we'll stay at the same place we stayed at this year, which is a four-star hotel. It's the Kyoto Century Hotel. And it's in the perfect place to walk and shop and go to great restaurants, and everything's in an easy walking distance. So the next morning, we'll have an open circle, get to know each other, and we take a quick ride to this castle. This is the Nijojo Castle, and it has two huge gates. Jessica, can I ask you to put on mute because I can't meet you at this point now? Um, and so there are two really big gates. This is the first one that we walk through. It's a 400-year-old palace. We're going back into the Golden Age, and we have time to go in and see beautiful architecture, silk screen, hear explanations about it. You can't take pictures inside. There are many places where we can't take pictures inside. So this is why you'll see outside buildings because you're not allowed. And then afterwards, this is when we start to get to know each other. And afterwards, we're going to go into the Nino Maru Garden, which is just gorgeous. There's not a single picture I've taken, I promise you, that does justice to what our eyes and our hearts are going to experience. I've tried. I cannot replicate it in Japan, but there's so much Zen and the feeling and the trees and the bonsais and the flowers and all of that. So we'll be in this garden, and Jessica will engage you in a heart centered, quick Qigong practice while we're here in this big garden, and get to set our intentions for the day and for our time. Um, it's really about mindfulness, to find our freedom, and to set one's heart right. And this is sort of the samurai ethos. And so I'm moving a little bit into the samurai place, because after this, we will go into the area where the museum is, the samurai museum. But there's some great shopping and food. So we're going to let you loose for a little bit and then meet after you've had lunch and get to see some of their local treasures already. We'll meet up at the Samurai Museum. We'll get a tour of it. Fascinating. You learn a lot. I knew nothing about this, and everyone was like, oh my gosh, we find out about the samurai's history, its culture. What does it all mean? And then afterwards, we get to participate in a fun and interactive ninja activity. That's all I'm going to tell you. That's all I'm going to tell you so far. And you get to channel your inner warrior and try something new. After that, we will go and experience the serenity of the Ryanji. It's called the Peaceful Dragon Temple. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site. It's famous for its Zen rock garden. It's a very large rock garden. There's a space where you can sit and you can contemplate the simplicity of it. You can contemplate the nothingness of this iconic space, and you can invoke the spirit of the peaceful dragon. Everybody sort of looks at these rocks and try to figure out what is it, and no one has yet to really say what it exactly is. So you too get to participate in eons of people over the years contemplating that. So we returned home. Oh, and beautiful artwork throughout. This was on the wall there in the Zen garden. And we will return back and have a welcome dinner and enjoy authentic Japanese cuisine for the first time and reflect. So when you get to the website, you'll see all the meals that are included, and you'll see which ones aren't. I'm not going to say that day by day as we go, but you'll see, like, for example, on this day, breakfast, it's always included, and dinner is included. So day three, this is oh, a few more pictures from that area at the Zen Rock Garden. You can see there's a few steps, not many, but a few steps to climb. I like to sort of give you an idea. Beautiful landscape. We were there just as the sun was starting to get into that golden light. There's places where you can go across bridges and you get to spend time before we head back. And then at night, this is the iconic Space Needle. Kyoto's beautiful at night. I can promise you that it is safe to walk around. There is no crime. This culture we could learn a lot from, and it's very safe. So this is one of the places I would say you could even walk by yourself because I did it many a nights, going to and from the grocery store, from the hotel to the grocery store in the basement, and you could buy a refrigerator on the third floor to everything under the sun. It was quite spectacular, just a few blocks away. So the third day, we step into some more history and majesty in Kyoto, and we experience the ultimate torii gates. These are torii gates. We're going to walk through thousands, not thousands, but it's called thousands of vermilion torii gates as we sort of climb through the hills. It is spectacular. It's the Fushimi Inari Tasha Shrine, and we encounter this incredible guardian called Inari. You will see Inari in several places. You see Inari on the left and the right now. It's the fox guardian spirit, and it's the Shinto god of rice. You'll find out more about that. And it's found in fable and legends and the spirit world. And the fox has a message for you. And at every temple, you quite possibly will get a message for you. And so we're walking through these gates. They are spectacular in this forest. Um, we take our time, and this is a beautiful photo that I just love. And again, you'll see several statues. You'll find out which ones, if you stick close to our guide, our English speaking guide, this one actually is the most prominent statue. You'll find out why, because the fox is holding a key, and there are other ones for prosperity, things like that. I loved this, and I I invoked fox, the fox guardian spirit, into my life now. So, uh, yeah, after our walking time, we will visit two more important temples. This is the fox with the rice before we leave there. We then oh yes, last thing I'll say about this. So at a lot of the temples, you have opportunities. You can watch the local Japanese people, and they write blessings, and they ask for a prayer to be answered or whatever. So in this one, you get to write on a fox, and then you hang it up. So every temple has its own personality. No two temples the same. They're not built the same. They all have their own special meanings, and I really enjoyed getting to know all this. So then we go to the Mizu Dera Temple. It was built over 1,250 years ago. It's halfway up Mount Ottawa, and we get to walk through uh, beautiful, beautiful landscape, and we find our way uh, past statues and everything. We find our way up at the top. And when we find our way up to the top, and there could be a lot of people, though we're going to go earlier, there is a goddess named Kanan. That's Kannon, Kanan. And um, she is the goddess of great mercy and compassion. And we'll talk about who she is similar to. Not going to give that away, but you've heard of her. And so I then took up Kanan. This was my first meeting with her. And let me tell you, there were a lot of people around us, a lot of people. And when we got within 100 feet of Kanan, it was so peaceful. It was so quiet. And when I walked in front of her, tears. I need more compassion in my life for certain people. And I got that. I got that gift. I got that blessing. It's very powerful. And then you can do things like Petra is doing right here. You can ring the bowl. There's certain things that you can do if you decide, because we have time. Her compassion is abundant. You can stand in front of her with a thankful heart and have gratitude for what's coming into the world, your daily life. We're way up top here, and you can look down, and there are people that stand in line to get a sip of this water that's coming out of the spring. And so that also is something that you can experience, as some in our group did. It's just there's something for you to do every place. And um, if that wasn't enough, um, there's a lot of shopping. We got some beautiful pottery. There's a lot of shopping here, and there's great places to eat, and we'll tell you. So we'll have time for that as well. Then after that, in the afternoon, after we've had lunch and been with Kanan, we walk what's called the philosopher's path. It's the path of philosophy, and it has to do with this philosophy professor where he walked every day back and forth from his house to the university. And it became known as the philosopher's path, and it's beautiful. It's in a really beautiful district, and it follows along a canal, and it's lined by hundreds of cherry trees, and it's gorgeous in the fall. And we will be invited to walk in silence so you can soak up every moment. And as we go along this path, where we'll end up is at our second temple for the day. And um, I would butcher this pronunciation, so I'm going to call its common name. It's called the Silver Pavilion, and it's an elegant temple set on beautiful grounds at the foot of the Kyoto's eastern mountains. It's a shining example. In fact, the best example I saw of Japanese landscape and architecture. When you walk in, again, this is sand. My camera cannot capture this. It's just breathtaking. And to see what they do, and it's all ephemeral. It's the impermanence of all things, because the rain comes and it messes all this up, and then you have to start again. It's really something to see. So it's like fleeting. And how do we take that up into our lives? And so it's raked all the time. And there are stones, there are places, there's this really huge sand cone, and they must have to do that a lot. And the grounds are just exquisite. And Jessica will lead us in a Qigong practice while we're there as well. We can walk up, it's a 10-minute walk up to the top to see a gorgeous vista and do some movement together. So I'm really looking forward to doing that, because I didn't have that element in it this year. And then you get to pick a spot to eat, because there are places to eat before we get back on the bus and head back to our hotel. Day 4, we visit the Sanju Sanjindo, I think, temple. um, this temple hall, there are very few pictures you can find, because you can't take pictures inside. So I really didn't know what to expect. And I, I was blown away. And it's, how does one open themselves up? Because here's canon again. In the center of it, I'm not showing it intentionally. And in the center sits this large wooden statue of 1,000 armed Kanan. I mean, this goddess of compassion with 1,000 arms, like wrap her arms around you. So you maybe could finally have compassion for yourself first and foremost, right? And then there are 500 statues surrounding her, and uh, they're all in these rows. And then you may see down at the bottom, as you walk along, you'll get to read what these other gods and goddesses are, and they're exquisite. I wanted to take a picture of every single one in their plaque, and they don't let you. I bought a book, but not all of them are in there. It's really spectacular. So we go there, and then afterwards we travel to a short distance, and we have a private guided zazen meditation experience at the Shorinji Temple. Um, it's a beautiful walk. That's where I saw the little statues at the beginning, and Shorinji, I hope I'm pronouncing that correct, means the wood of awakening. And I'm not going to say what that is, but you're invited to awaken with the wood if you want. That's all we'll say. But we have a meditation experience and we learn Zazen. Za is the harmony of the body, breath, and mind. And Zen is the Chinese translation of the Sanskrit dhyana or meditation. So we have the harmony of the body, breath, and mind, and we have meditation. And I meditate a lot. I have a regular meditation practice, but it's significantly changed after this Zazen experience. I've never had 20 minutes go by so fast in my life in meditation. And then there is the Wood of Awakening. We'll see what that is when you go with us. And I participated in that. And so it's magnificent, gorgeous grounds. And we will have the afternoon and evening. You can explore Kyoto on your own. So there's times we're together, and then you also have times where you're not. So you can, um, be with whoever you want or be by yourself. On day 5, we take a journey and it takes us to Kibun, and it's only about 30 minutes outside of the Kyoto city, but it feels like it's world away. The pace is slow now. We're slowing down. The area is filled to the brim with wildlife and flowers, and it's along the river. Lots of local restaurants and ryokans, which are traditional Japanese inns. And so we go to the Kifun shrine. There are steps. We're going to go up some steps. This shrine is particularly significant to the Japanese as the home of Kami, which is the god of water. So this is a water temple. And there are many things that you will get to experience that relates to water. This particular one, there are a lot of water shrines in Japan, but this one is the head of over 2,000 of them. So this is a very significant water shrine for the people of Japan. And the reason is this entire area is calming and healing, and it's deeply spiritual for the Japanese people. And that legend has it that a goddess traveled to this location from Osaka, and it's where her spirit as well as her boat is kept. So there's a boat stone under which it's said to be buried the goddess's boat. And people who own businesses like me come here to seek blessings. So it's a great place to visit. When we um, we'll spend time there, and then we head to Zazanin. Zazanin. To will When we arrive, you'll again have some little places to shop. When I say shop, they're very specific, small, unique places. It's not like big shopping. And to pick a place to eat lunch, because this is one of my favorite places to go. We visit the Zazen Inn Temple, and it's a significant place for Buddhism. It's called Pure Land Buddhism, and they chant sutras. And so while we're there, we're probably going to get to hear the Buddhist priest chant sutras. And it's also called Jodo Buddhism. And it basically means that one can be reborn into a new Buddha field and make steps into the next life to improve and come closer to enlightenment. So, um, this garden with its mosses on the ground is so spectacular. My camera again won't pick it up, but it's so bright and my camera can't pick this up. I don't know why. But there's moss on the ground. It is gorgeous. And then you're invited to look for some hidden Jizo statues. The Jizo statues, you've already seen some, but they have some in the ground, little people in the ground. Um, it's exquisite.
Mhm.
It's beautiful. And then you will have a choice. You can take some time after we've had some time to wander. You can choose to sit in a very special place. People come from all over Japan to do this, to sit in a special place in this temple to have tea. Or you could decide to go on a walk into the forest to what's called a soundless waterfall, Oto Nashi waterfall. It's a beautiful walk into the forest. So you can either sit and sip and have tea, or you can go for a walk. So before we leave, day 6. This is a video of where we start in Koya-san. Huge trees, like massive trees. We're going to take a nice slow walk. Kaya-san is a holy site. It's one of the holiest sites in all of Japan because these are ancient grave sites. They no longer bury people here. They're really, really old. And what one can witness while we walk, there's not only the various statues, but I'm going to produce a book. I love this so much because you see family members, and then you see the care that the living family members give to the dead family members, like knitting a hat for the family member's statue. And then at certain times of the year, they put like a dress on it, right? And they're all over. And then, because I'm not showing you that many, there are some, and then you see all their children like beside them, like generations. It's we had no idea what we were in store for. It's beautiful walking amongst these ancient trees with in this ancient graveyard, and it's a very holy site. That where we end up is another temple, very different. But you get to see these squares and round. These are representing people, right? So that was probably the husband and the wife, and you'll see all throughout this just how beautiful it is. And then we end up at the temple, and it's you get to do certain rituals if you want, and I'll walk you through it. And if I'm not around, you just watch what the Japanese people do, and if you feel so moved, you do it. They love Americans, and they love seeing us. It's just so welcoming. So this is a very special journey that we walk through this forest in this ancient graveyard, and we'll talk about that. Like how do we take up the thought of our own death, things like that. Um, and then we spend the night in a very special place. This is an authentic Japanese Buddhist temple. It's known especially for its sacred, it's called Ryokan experience. So that means we sleep on the mats on the floor with the soji screens. We sit on the floor to eat, though there are chairs if you need them. We will have a meditation experience. It's silent, it's quiet, it's beautiful. You can we're called in a specific time, both at night and then early in the morning. The Buddhist priests sing their prayers. Really beautiful. um, so we will have dinner there and breakfast there, and it's it's something. They have a koi pond, everything about this place. Although I'm just going to say, for one night only, you're sleeping on the floor on the mats. So that too is an experience to do that. There is no mattress. We have now requested 2 mats for your group, just so you know, because we only got 1 mat. So we're going to get 2 because you need 2 mats. It's really beautiful, just being honest. And they have, again, lots of this is still at the temple where we spend the night. They have lots of things that you can sit and contemplate your life. It's beautiful. Then, after our time with the morning prayer and the priest, and have breakfast and have an opportunity to do some Qigong, we will uh, travel on, and we go to a Shinto Shinto temple. So this is first Shinto temple. We'll talk about that. It's a beautiful one. It's Sumiyoshi Tasha. Beautiful place. Um, and it's a shrine, a Shinto shrine that's dedicated to the three gods of the sea. And Watasumi, a creature in three manifestations. So there's a god of war, a god of poetry, and a god of the sea. And then I promise you, we are going to indulge our eyes and taste buds. It was one of the most favorite meal um, I've ever eaten in all of Japan for sure, uh, at Sumiyoshi. Trust me, it's incredible. This is just everything was an art form and every bite was exquisite. And it's, I don't know, 7 or 8 courses. You get to taste it all. It's really great. And then we moved to a special Royacon Inn experience. The link for where we're staying will be also on the website so you can see where we're staying for 2 nights at the Takarazuka Onsen Hotel. You don't go to Japan, and especially in the Kyoto or the Osaka area. Osaka is known for its onsen inns. And what that is basically a hot springs, and they have their hot spring has a history of 700 years. There's a large indoor bath and an open air bath, so it's open air and very natural looking. The indoor sort of looks like, not a pool, but it's a bath. And the spring quality of the water in the open air bath is sodium chloride cold mineral spring, which has the property of warming the body from its core. So it keeps you warm after the bath, even though it says it's a cold mineral spring. So I didn't get to experience this yet. So I'm looking forward to that. So the water's especially popular for those of us who might be sensitive to cold. So that's good. Day 8, we travel out to the island of Wajishima, or also known as Awaji Island. And this is where the gods met. And from this place, all other islands of Japan are born. This is their fable and their myth. And so this is the very epicenter of Japanese legend and Shinto tradition. And we get to spend time at this Zimbo Sayai, which is a Zen retreat. It looks like this. The architecture is phenomenal. We get to spend time there and have a Zen wellness experience while we overlook these panoramic views of the valleys all around. So, this retreat is designed to detoxify and retreat your body, your mind by experiencing meditation and Qigong and the sunlight, the clean air, and the magnificent energy. All this is outdoors. And we get to spend time there. We're going to have a lunch, which is so incredible, all organic, no sugar, very tasty, those kinds of things. Their chefs are just beautiful at making what they call Zen bow dishes. We also have tea and cakes and more surprises. That's all I'll say. So everything about our time there is about going with the flow, and it's an unforgettable experience on many levels, especially the view. And then day 9, we start out at the Japan Osaka Kung Fu School, and they're known for their traditional martial arts and their energy cultivation practices. So we will get to connect with century old wisdom and mastery that's been passed down through the generations. We will be with them either in their training space or at the beach. We're working that out, but we'll be with a master teacher and immerse ourselves with a Qigong practice led by a master teacher. It'll be wonderful to see how a Japanese who was trained in in China, leads us in a Qigong experience. And no one on this journey needs to know Qigong. I got to know that thanks to Jessica. I'd never done Qigong, and you can do it. Anybody can do it. She leads it so beautifully. So This will be a wonderful way to really get our life in the flow and get grounded. And goodness knows there are many things happening to, and this is a way to stay grounded, and to be in the flow and the joy of our life. And afterwards, we go back to Kyoto, where we'll have our celebration dinner and spend the night. So, and on day 10, we prepare to leave Kyoto, and one can go to Tokyo. Again, if we have enough, we'll do a Tokyo add on for sure. We have great recommendations for what to do at Tokyo if you want to do that at the back end. If by chance that doesn't work for your schedule and you want to do it on the front end, we'll help you with that as well. We have now great experience in Tokyo. And for those of you who love Disney, it's an opportunity to go to Disneyland, Tokyo, and Disney Sea, which I highly recommend. There's not a park like it anywhere in the world. There's also some phenomenal things called Idea Lab that if you go to Tokyo, I'm not going to let you miss it because I immerse myself in it for 2 hours live, mind blowing, artistic experience that one can't describe, but you got to do. So you really want to do that if you go to Tokyo. And so that's day 10 on October 31st. So that is the daily itinerary for 10 days and 9 nights. The price, double occupancy, is $5,689. There is an $889 non-refundable deposit because we have limited spots and we want to know that you're serious when you place your deposit. If you want a room all to yourself and have a single supplement for the entire time, that would be an additional 1,450. And I just want to say that um, Jessica and I have chosen the two highest visited places now, the number one and number two spots. They're neck and neck, called Bali and Japan. So I will tell you that the prices in Japan have gone way up. And I will also tell you, I did everything to keep this price low because the people that just went with me in October this year paid $5,589, and the prices have gone way up. And so I did my best, and we only raised it $100, and that's phenomenal for this experience. So we're really proud to present this to you. It's a priceless experience. Jessica and I trust that you will want to be on the journey with us and go with the flow and fall into Japan and fall in love with Japan. So that is what I have to share. I'm going to remove my pen so I can see all of you now. Thank you for listening. And now I want to open it up to questions. What questions or further information that you'd like to have? Just raise your hand or raise your hand with the little icon. Either way.
Well,
Yes, Benjamin. And tell me your name again. Um, you have to unmute. So everybody's going to have to unmute probably before you speak.
Linda.
Linda. Hey, Linda. Nice to see you again.
Thank you. So you said that meals would be listed on the website when you release that, but is all the lodging? And what about transportation between the cities or to and from the airport?
Great question. So yeah, we also say what is, it's spelled out. So what is included is, yes, if a meal's mentioned, which there are a lot that are included, we intentionally don't include some, so you have time to go eat what you want, go where you want. The lodging, absolutely. All the transportation, the English speaking guides, all the admission, all of that. What's not basically included is your international airfare to get there and to go back. Once we see where everybody's come from, right now the transportation from Kix will give you all the flight parameters. The transportation from the airport to our first hotel is not included, and unless it can be, it'll be a surprise. We'll gift that if we can, but the transportation from our last hotel to the airport will be included. All the transportation in between is absolutely. and some
And are there,
surprises.
Same flight.
so are gratuities included, or are there any other fees we should be aware of?
Um, Again, great question. So you'll learn there's a culture in Japan, and we will teach you about the culture before we go. There's a culture in Japan that it actually is an insult to tip. So there are no tips. Now, with that said, we did take up. I'm getting feedback from you, so that's why I'm pausing. We did take up. What I call a love offering for our English speaking guide because she went so above and beyond what she needed to do for us. And we made her accept it. And she did take it. But other than that, there are no tips. That means no meals, no. We have to take care of our own luggage. I'll tell you that because that's also culturally there. They don't have any bell people. None of these places do. So I'll help. But the only other thing that would you need to think about is travel insurance, and we assist you with that. And it all depends on what you want to price your trip at, but you really have to have medical coverage when you leave the country. So travel insurance, maybe a tip for our English speaking guide. That's it. Everything else is shopping money and the meals that aren't listed.
And do you limit the group size?
Yes, we will not take more than 24.
Same flight.
You do not have to be. No, we help you. We have someone that can help you get the best. Someone that's been booking flights for over 40 years. And post COVID, you need a pretty good person because there are a lot of flights being canceled, and you don't want a flight being canceled and someone not fighting for you so that you don't miss what you were paying for. But you don't have to be on any same flights. You can use your frequent flyer miles, however you want to fly, wherever you're flying from. We will assist you in that. But everybody gets to do their flights based upon the flight parameters that we give you. And no one buys flights, and we have to have no less for this tour and the pricing that I'm giving, no less than 17 people. And once we get 17, we say it's a go and people can buy their flights. Unless you want to buy non-refundable, I don't want you to do that ahead of time. And if it doesn't go, which between Jessica and I, we know it's a go. But if it's not a go, you do get your non-refundable deposit back. If it doesn't go, you do get all your money back. We don't keep your money. This is my ministry. I will not keep things from you. I want to give you more. So
Okay, thank you.
you're so welcome. Jessica.
What's the exchange rate like? I mean, are things comparable to the US, or did you find things more expensive, less expensive?
Right. Actually, yeah, the Japanese yen, right now, it's good for Americans, but it's pretty similar. Um, you're going to find things less expensive. Like the things that we bought was less expensive. Um, kimonos are for Japan, but they're not that expensive. Can you find expensive things in Japan? Absolutely. But no, the meals didn't seem expensive. Um, the shopping didn't seem expensive than other places in the world. And if you want to buy a house there, you can get a really nice one for $50,000. I found that out. Let me tell you, I'm seriously considering it now. So, because I didn't know that before going. Um, it's amazing. Gorgeous homes. So you may want to go with us so you can see. And we have good contacts there that can help with that. We have great partners to help with that. So, because I'm considering it. There we go. Yes, Diana.
Uh, is that the rainy season? I've noticed I look at the Japanese and on the Weather Channel, and it seems like it's always raining there. So I was just curious.
Yeah, I can tell you the entire time that and it was literally, I think, the exact same dates, the 22nd through the 31st of October. We did not get rained on a single day. When we went to Tokyo, right after that, for the next few days, there was one morning at the fish market where we had umbrellas or a rain jacket. Other than that, we didn't get rained on. So it's definitely, it must not be the rainy season. It was cloudy on several days, but we didn't get rained on.
And
Mhm.
in that time of year, what is the attire? Like, is it a sweater or jacket or sweatshirt or
Well, we packed layers and cool clothes, and some of us had to buy t-shirts. It was unseasonably warmer, not hot, but we had all brought long sleeves and turtlenecks and jackets. And no, it was mid 70s to low 80s.
wow.
And fall came late. That's why I said, and it was very unusual. So we saw some leaves, but sort of towards the end. And let me tell you what's really weird now to see is Halloween in Japan. They're doing Halloween, Christmas. They're taking our stuff up, but they're the Western stuff, but they're taking it up their way. It's really cute. So I did love the Halloween at Disney Sea. Phenomenal. The way they dress up. Phenomenal. Let's say that. High marks for that. So yeah, it was warm. It wasn't cold. Now next year could be a whole different ballgame. Yeah.
Karen?
Oh yes,
Or
Claire. Yeah.
Right. So, if we do go to Tokyo, is that an additional flight, or I'm not really aware of like how far is Kyoto from Tokyo?
It's an easy flight. It's an hour flight, but it's an 8-hour bus ride. So we wouldn't want to do that. So what we do is before so since you don't know spirit tours and the way we do things, we'll have 3 meetings. Once we know, we'll have 3 meetings to get you prepared. Again, to give you flight parameters. So you have choices. You do have some flexibility. You could fly in and out of Tokyo because there's a lot of mileage points in and out of Tokyo if you want. And you take the bullet train. We'll tell you how to do that. You take the bullet train down to Kyoto, and then you could take the bullet train back. Now, if we as a group have an add-on, getting to Tokyo would be included in that add-on price. But so you
okay.
could fly in and out of Tokyo. Some people, I flew into Kyoto and I flew out of Tokyo. So it just depends on, I did a one-way to Kyoto and I did a one-way from Tokyo, and I use points. So that's how
Mhm.
we help you. Um, but you could all of the above. So yeah. Bullet trains are great. Some people wanted to ride and experience the bullet train and see Mount Fuji going from Tokyo. There's a way that you can see Mount Fuji. It's really beautiful. They make a whole thing about it, and then we tell you exactly. And our first hotel is like right across the street from the station. So very easy, very safe. Like I said, we will help you until we all come together. We'll help you so that you know what to do and you don't have questions about it. So you can be fully comfortable.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome. Yeah, Lauren.
Hi, Karen. Thank you. Well, I love architecture and landscape design. Is there going to be time it looks like a really well planned trip, but is there going to be time like to sit and maybe sketch in some of these places or just have some little downtime, or how much time are we going to have in each of the temples? Because I'm hoping we
We're
can have some
space.
time.
Yeah, I mean, we're spacing it better. We also want to make sure you're having the experience that we want you to have, but we are spacing it so you have more time. There's also some afternoons. There's several afternoons and evening free time, and these places in Kyoto are so close. There's a really big, beautiful Buddhist temple. If you decide you want to get up early one morning and go there, it opens at 6 a.m., things like that. You're going to have that spaciousness, sometimes with us as a group and sometimes not, right? So if you wanted to do that, absolutely you could. And then, like, for example, there's spaciousness where I said you could either go on a waterfall hike, not really a hike, we'll call it a walk, but a waterfall hike or sip tea. I mean, you could sit there and sketch and sip tea. that spaciousness. So yeah.
That's nice. And I appreciated on the Bali trip that there were little excursions that you could take if you had kind of a free morning or a free afternoon. And so I'm assuming you're sort of planning some of those along the way too. Or is this more programmed maybe?
Well, this is when we have our free time, we can suggest some places you might want to go.
Okay.
But it's really, you know, you would either walk or hop in a cab.
Right.
Both are
Okay.
very easy to do. Yeah.
And I don't think I'll get tired of Japanese cuisine or sushi. I don't think. I
You
think it's
will
going to be a
not.
problem.
It's really good. We thought we knew sushi. It's really good. Yes, Gary. I just muted you, so now you have to unmute. There you go.
Okay, so we were just wondering for planning purposes, the add-on to Tokyo, parameter of what the cost might be or range it might be, or is it number of days that you're planning for that add-on, or is that like however long we want to make it?
Well, so if the group, I'm sorry, I'm looking at my other screen. I know I'm not looking at the camera here. If the group goes, then in order to keep Tokyo's one of the most expensive cities in the country.
Mhm.
It's very, very expensive. And in order to keep the cost down, let me just pull it up because it's no longer on our website. Um, I kept it to, I think it was 2 full days. So the 31st we're traveling to Tokyo, right? And then it would be the 1st and the 2nd, and then you leave on the 3rd. Now, some of us stayed and played at Disney. So you could stay and do something on your own. And if you really want a guide, we had somebody wanted that and they wanted a personal guide. We can arrange that too. And we just pass this on, anything like that. We just pass it on at our cost to you. We just want you to have the experience. So for that, because honestly, I don't remember off the top of my head, Gary, and I haven't priced Tokyo out, so you cannot hold me to this, okay? Because prices in Japan have really gone up
Mhm.
since, but for this year, the Tokyo add-on was 2,150, which is phenomenal. So that was 3 nights in Tokyo and 2 full days of doing things and the
Okay.
flight to get us there. So it was transportation to the airport, flight to get us there, 3 nights in Tokyo, and 2 full days of seeing the best of Tokyo. And that's what it
Okay.
cost this year. So it won't be less than that. And we'll trust that we'll keep it as close to that as possible, if that's probably helpful to you.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Any other questions? Yes. There you go. Janet, you got to unmute. There you go.
Kind of transportation. I came into this a little bit late, so you may have covered it, but what kind of transportation between points during a day, so for example, or
We're
during
on
the week?
yeah, great question. I didn't. We're on a really nice bus. So we're on a bus with lots of space and room, and um we'll have different buses each day. The buses are the one really controlled things by the government, and it's so controlled you have no idea. It's like you say we're going to be dropped off and picked up. I'm just telling people in advance. That's just the way it is. So I'm used to traveling the world with our groups and going, yeah, we're going to take an extra half hour. We'll see ya. We've decided to do this now. Mm-mm. So that's why we've created the spaciousness to make sure we have the experience. But their buses is how we're going, and it's nice buses, luxury buses, I would call them.
Um, do you think there's I don't know, I just this came into my head. Is there opportunity to see any uh traditional dance or kabuki or anything like that? Or maybe that we could see that in Tokyo or
And there's an opportunity. Yes, in Tokyo, there's definitely an opportunity, and we'll ensure that you get your tickets in advance because you can't get them once we arrive. So those are the things, sort of like the Idea Lab um, experience, which I'll put that out to the group that are interested in going and what that is. So
or
yeah,
musical, like see traditional music and
yeah,
instruments and those kind of things.
and there might be some surprises. There might be some surprises for us. We like to give surprises where you maybe could experience that on our tour. So, yes, some private experiences,
Think it,
like we had private experiences in Bali.
yeah.
Yes, Janet.
How much will we enjoy Jessica with her Qigong and Tai Chi?
Well,
The
I
goal
hope
is every day, but
every
we can.
day. And we're gonna we'll fit it in. When what we didn't do this in Bali, but I'm not sure why. But in when I was in China, a lot of times we did qigong on the bus. So
Hmm.
when we're traveling from place, we'll do some breath work. We'll do massage. When we get to the temples, it doesn't have to be an hour long practice. We'll have 10 minutes here, 15 minutes there, and a lot of grounding experiences. So what you're familiar with now, just when we can have the longer sessions. But yeah, happy to see you both. The DeBards are students of mine in Montecito, and so happy you're interested.
Yeah, our goal is every day. Jessica will be doing something.
Yeah.
And as often as possible, we're gonna, as a group, we're gonna say, okay, we're gonna do some qigong today. Wear comfortable clothes. Also, with spirit tours, you dress casual, comfortable. We're not doing the captain's table kind of thing, anything like that. We also allow wear the same clothes so you can pack light. It's really okay. And we'll tell you in advance, like wear something comfortable because we're going to sneak off over here and do a qigong practice today at this temple. We
And
might draw a crowd.
yeah, and hopefully they join in. And
Yeah.
typically on our trips, we have several teachers, and I see a couple teachers here on the call, and we invite them to lead also if they want. I feel we're all teachers. We all have something to share. We all have our gifts, and whether it's Lauren's take on architecture or Diana's take on art or, Sharon's nature, I think it's a sharing experience. And we are a little tribe, that moving together and we're going to discover each other's gifts. And I love to learn from everybody on the trip. So it's not just about me being the teacher. I invite all of us to share your wisdom. I know Rick has been practicing for a long time. Barbara, my gosh, long time no see. I think, Benjamin and Linda, are you former students of mine? I mean, you look like people. Yeah, okay. Yeah, a long time no see. I'm glad you're interested.
Janet, yes.
Was the whole trip in Kyoto?
No, we
Osaka.
we start in Kyoto. We'll travel out, come back, then we go to Osaka as well, and then we also spend one night at the Buddhist temple. That's not in Osaka, and then we come back to Kyoto. Yes. Kyoto to Osaka is 3 hours. We'll get to do a lot of qigong on that bus ride, but we stop and get out and stretch our legs. But that's the longest ride, and that's just to go from Kyoto to Osaka. In Kyoto, where we're traveling is very short distances. Kyoto has so much to offer, but it's a big city. You don't want to walk it. It's big.
How does the-
Janice. Yep, sorry. Go ahead. Who was?
No, go ahead, Janice.
Oh, we can't
Hang
hear
on,
you.
hang on. I'm hitting the ask to unmute button.
Okay.
There
Okay.
you go.
Can you
There you
hear
go.
me?
Yes.
What was the cost of the flight? I know it varies all the time, but approximately what was it this time?
I can't tell you. I use points. It was 50,000
Oh,
points, round trip, 50,000 points, round trip business class on American to Tokyo. But I think,
Are you in Texas?
I
Trying to remember
yeah,
where you live,
yeah,
Jess. Yeah,
I'm
let me
in doubt.
I'll
But
do a
yes,
little
she is.
Google here.
yes.
Anyway, so I would say probably around between $900 and $1,200 round trip.
Oh.
That's what I would say.
Hmm.
Yeah. So Dallas to Tokyo is 11 hours, direct flight.
Wow.
Mm,
Bad.
No,
that's
it's
great.
not bad. It's not like Bali.
So it's not like Bali. Oh my God. That's good.
I'm looking at it's like $1,200, $1,300. Just a quick Google.
And Tokyo is going to be more expensive than Kyoto usually because Tokyo is a big business. I mean, people go there for business a lot too, not just tourism. So, yeah.
And your travel gal was great helping us and
Yeah, we'll give you a name. Yeah.
and I just want to say I've learned from experience, definitely get the trip insurance. You never know what could happen. A pandemic could happen. So the trip is canceled. So travel insurance is just a wonderful thing. It's
If a
worth
pandemic, yes, if a pandemic happens, let's be clear, or something happens in Japan, it'll be postponed. You won't lose it. We'll just go at another time. But if something happens to you or your family member, or there's all kinds of things that could happen, like Jessica said. And so trip insurance, we will help and advise you on that. We have several companies, and yes, I would highly recommend that. Protect your investment.
Is there a visa required or a passport
Nope.
limitation?
Nope. Nope. Ray,
You're muted.
you have to unmute.
I just wanted to mention that I just looked up flights, and for those dates, the flights are around $675
Oh, what?
One way or round trip?
round trip.
Is that going to KIX or
Yeah,
Tokyo?
that's going to Tokyo. That's
Okay.
Los Angeles to Tokyo and back.
There you go. Yeah. She was probably looking for Texas for Janice, but
Right.
yes, there you go. Grab that.
I
Get it
did Dallas.
refundable, and then there you go. Get that. That's a fantastic flight right there. That's good. That's a great price. Any other questions? I've made it live, just so you know. I will let me just show you real quick. So you know what it looks like. You go to spirit.tours. That's it. No .com. Leave it off. Spirit.tours. And let me just share. Spirit.tours. Here it is. And then you scroll down. Here it is. It is now live right here. Japan with the little smiley people. And here you go, all the information. And like I said, you can click there are links throughout where we stay, etc. Some of the places we go, and then book this tour is how you put the deposit down.
October 22nd.
Yes, Janet.
I hate to complain, but all the pictures were blurry and this last screen, you couldn't read anything.
Oh, I'm sorry. Wonder what was going on. Let's try this again. Let me try it again. I'm going to try it this way. Let's try this. Can you see that?
Yes.
Yes.
Slightly, it's still blurry, but
Oh,
Mine isn't.
Mine's not blurry.
Mine
No.
either.
okay. So, yeah, let me this is our main website. You'll see this. And then right below the slider is Japan, right here. And you just click on it, tour information right there.
Mm.
And it has all the information. Not as many pictures as I shared tonight, but yeah. There you go.
Karen, what I really liked was that there was an app, for those who haven't been on a spirit tour, it's like an app that you can follow day by day, had a lot of good tips on it too. So I really liked that the itinerary was so in the palm of your hand. I also am curious how the Japanese celebrate significant birthdays. Not mine, but somebody might be going.
Somebody might be going.
Significant birthday. So we may need to learn how the Japanese do birthdays.
I would love to. No one had one on this year's journey, but I'm sure they know how to really celebrate it. And yeah, and the other thing is we're going to teach you customs and their culture before you go. For example, I have a tattoo on my arm, and when you go in an onsen bath, you can they now allow tattoos to be seen out in public. They used to not. But when you go in an onsen bath, they have like clear band-aids, sort of like a big patch, and you know, they're like, I don't know, $5, and you put it on your tattoo before you go in the water. But we teach you things like that, how to greet people, what to say. So we help you with that as well.
Yeah, I love the
So
picture of the 500 Kanans. Who's the goddess of compassion?
Anan, yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I've seen things like that in China, and it blows your mind to be.
Yeah.
Gary and Gail saw that also in China, and Ray, and those temples with all of those deities, really something. So I'm looking forward to that a lot.
Yeah.
All that compassion, can you imagine? Yay.